Hey, it's Caroline here. I used to love spending time in the kitchen with my grandma when I was in middle school. She had a secret bread recipe that she would let me make, but it took me a few tries to get it right. Take a look. Grandma, why isn't the dough rising? Did you add the yeast? Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, I set it to the side and then I forgot to use it. Ugh. Grandma, I forgot to add the yeast. Can I just, sprinkle it on top? Yep, that happened. Oh, and FYI, you can't just sprinkle the yeast on tap. That won't work. I made a lot of mistakes while perfecting my bread making skills. Once I didn't use warm water, so the yeast didn't make the dough rise. Another time, I made the water too hot and it killed the yeast. There were definitely some hiccups as middle school me perfected my baking skills. I've done it all, from measuring the ingredients incorrectly, to forgetting to add all the ingredients, to skipping over some important details needed to make the recipe work correctly. But you're in for a treat, because I am sharing my grandma's secret, not so much a secret anymore, recipe with you. And I'm going to give you the inside scoop on how to execute this recipe. You'll develop the skills you need to not just make this recipe, but also begin making all sorts of other recipes too. And don't worry, I checked with my grandma, and she said she would be honored for me to share her recipe with you. She's the best. Let's take a closer look at this bread recipe. There are typically two sections in a recipe. There's the ingredients list and the directions. Let's look at the ingredients list first. What information do you see on the ingredients list? It will include the ingredients, but also how much you need for each of them. In many recipes, it can be important to measure these ingredients precisely. Some recipes rely on chemical reactions, and those reactions won't happen correctly if the ingredient amounts are off. This tends to be especially true when baking. For example, we want bread dough to rise before putting it in the oven, but using the wrong amount of an ingredient, or forgetting the yeast like middle school me did, could cause the dough to stay really thick and not rise. On the other hand, some recipes can be more flexible. This means the quantities of certain ingredients can be changed or substituted for something else. This would be most likely if we're just mixing ingredients together, or when we're cooking something like meat or veggies and can choose how much of each flavor we want in the dish. Here is a fruit smoothie recipe and a pancake recipe. Which of these do you think has more flexibility? Take some time to think about changes you could make to either of these recipes and still have them taste delicious. Maybe for the pancake recipe, you said you could probably add more sugar if you wanted sweeter pancakes. Or you could use water instead of milk. Or you could add another egg for more protein. These are all possibilities. There is definitely some room for flexibility, but if you change too many of the essential ingredients, you won't get a light, fluffy pancake. Changes to the smoothie recipe could include things like adding any fruits of your choice, using different flavors of Greek yogurt, or even regular yogurt instead, skipping the vanilla extract and honey, or using maple syrup instead, and even substituting orange juice for milk to get a little more tart flavor. This recipe is very flexible because as long as a blender can blend it and you like the way it tastes, that's all that matters. As you try more and more recipes, you'll notice that some are more flexible than others. It can be a good idea to try new recipes using the exact ingredients and measurements the first time around, and then make alterations based on your preferences after that. Some of the common measurements you'll see on a recipe are tablespoon and teaspoon, which can be abbreviated as TBSP and TSP, with the only difference between these abbreviations being the letter B. They can be easy to confuse. Do you see any abbreviations on my grandma's recipe? Yeah, teaspoon is used here and tablespoon is used here. And here's another abbreviation. Do you know what this abbreviation means? This letter C stands for cup. There are a lot of different cups out there, but if a recipe calls for a cup of something, you'll need a measuring cup, which is equivalent to 8 ounces. Some other common abbreviations you might see on recipes includes OZ for ounce, MIN for minutes, and capital F for Fahrenheit. It's also important to pay attention to the small details included on the ingredients list. For example, when making bread, the recipe wouldn't specify the water's temperature if it wasn't important. As another example, notice how the recipe specifies instant yeast. This is because there are other kinds of yeast out there that don't do the same thing, so we have to be careful to use the type the recipe calls for. In order to make sure you have all your ingredients ready, you measure them correctly, and you don't skip over any important details. It's important to read through the ingredients list before getting started. It can also be a great idea to have all your ingredients and measuring utensils organized in your workspace and ready to use to help avoid mistakes. Next, let's check out the directions section. Just like the ingredients section, it's important to look at the directions before starting a recipe. This will tell you what you need to do, but also what tools you'll need in order to make the recipe come to life. Some tools might be specifically referenced, but some of them you might have to think of on your own. Here in the first step, we're told to use a mixing bowl, but we'd also have to make sure we have a large spoon to mix with. Check out this second step. Here we're told to dissolve the maple syrup in the warm water and then mix it with the other ingredients from the first step. What would we need in order to do that? Pause the video so you have a moment to think about it. We'd need another bowl, a microwave to warm the water up, and a spoon to mix with. Take some time to read through the rest of these directions and visualize yourself working through these steps in your kitchen. What other tools do you think you'll need to complete this recipe? Maybe you notice that you'll need a loaf pan and either grease or parchment paper. You'll also likely use plastic wrap to cover the dough while waiting for it to rise. And baking it will require an oven. Oh, and don't forget the pot holders. And you'll need a bread knife to easily slice through the loaf when it's ready to eat. Paying close attention to the ingredient list and directions on any recipe is very important in order to take a recipe and turn it into a masterpiece. All right, I think you're ready to use my grandma's recipe. I'm really excited for you to try it. And I bet you'll make my grandma proud. In order to try this recipe and complete the rest of this lesson, you'll need to make sure you have the correct ingredients and tools. Be sure to preview the Day 2 and Day 3 activities for this lesson with your trusted adult and make a plan for getting everything you need. And remember, as we travel back, we learn forward. Every past lesson builds a brighter future. See you next time. Hey, hey.